the garage. Transfer your money.
Hello? Is anybody out there? Is this thing on? Am I transferring my consciousness to your consciousness through a digital system by speaking into your brain? I don't know. Are you wearing headphones? Are you are you getting this? Are you seeing these images of today? Those crazy clouds. I sort of want to roll this back real quick. Because it's been like this a lot. Blue. There's a cloud. There's a couple more. But this formation, I just thought was kind of nuts. These tenderly thingies. I haven't seen that. At least not in the time lapse. It's kind of trippy, right? Pulsating like that. I mean, just observing in a non-committal sort of fashion. That's okay, right? Honestly, I don't know how much trouble we're ever going to get in. I think the main point is to create this atmosphere of fear, mistrust, banned words. You only have to get a couple of scapegoats in trouble in the end. Examples. Ooh, check that out. See, I never even have time to look. I'm seeing these for the first time with you guys. That's just a lot to do, You can't make everything perfect. Otherwise, I'd never make this show. I think I thought about making a show many days, and then I didn't make a show. So, here we are looking at some blue skies. Then it got dark. I also have this bird for you. Calming in its own sense, I would say. But still a lot of this blue sky. It's interesting with this big flood that's coming, obviously, at some point in the near future to observe the weather patterns, before that event. Those clouds were just kind of trippy. I'm going to have to really take another look at those. But yeah, definitely a lot of blue skies. Oh, let's just get the zoom going. Come on. All right. But it's spring, the things are alive. I want to keep highlighting that like not everything is dead yet. And you can still observe beauty in the natural world, which I don't know where you live, but go out and do it, Look at a tree and appreciate it for being alive in whatever sense. But also strange birds, right? I've been seeing birds here that I've honestly never seen before. They must be confused like all the other animals, They just landed here and they're like, dude, what's going on? Is there any food? But we don't normally have birds this size, basically. We have the smaller birds. And the nature is really different every year. That is definitely a factor. You don't see tons of these every year. They turn into these carpet kind of covered. I guess you're not supposed to touch them because they're poisonous or something. At least that's the story. But they're everywhere. They're goddamn everywhere. They're all over the ground. Right? And that's, I don't know, if you live in nature, especially a place with bugs and stuff, you really get a feel for the pulse of what's going on, I think. Better than being in the city. Because then you're just stepping on concrete. It's all planted by humans, right? You got to see nature in its natural course, and it's going to flourish under a lot of different circumstances. But it's interesting to see like which, right? Because it's always sort of one type of bug just really crushes it one year, and it really depended on all the factors leading up to that all through the winter. You know, how much rain we got, and all the other bugs. I guess they tried to get born, but it didn't work out. You know, but furry bug is crushing it this year, just absolutely crushing it. It's just a hexagon. Nothing to see here. Right? Just let it go into your brain. This black cube that's on my toothpaste. The black cube of toothpaste. Just let it settle in. Among other things, you know, here's a flying object. That was, I guess it was a pretty nice day because I did not see any sort of trail being created. There was, well, nothing at all. You know, you have the really long staying power ones. You have the ones that just trail right behind it, and then you have the ones with nothing. You know, it's just there. Just taking notes. Same day. Different plane, I guess? Or maybe it's a natural formation. That's always a possibility, I guess. I consider all options. How the fuck is the light still on? Why is the light on? Why will it not stop? It glows so much brighter than all the other solar powered lights, and it's much better than the solar powered lights because it goes all night. It crushes through. It lights my way. The batteries are dead. Scott Rogers knows what's up. This is the inside joke of the channel. If you don't know what's up with the light, I'm not going to explain it. Just, right? It's lighting up the plants next to it. Come on. Powerful light. All right. I should, you know, just to keep things moving along. Sometimes I don't super plan everything out. If that's not like ridiculously obvious, you know, I'm trying to make it snappy. Trying to get onto different subjects. And I want to get into the news because things happen besides, like, you know, this guy. I think this guy is really important, but other things also happen, so. I mean, I guess I could just spin it out, you know. That sound you hear is the movement into the next section. But I feel like I should be able to drag this thing around, you know. Because now we're just, you know, looking at this bird. It's going down. Some cycles, right? Everything goes in cycles, and some cycles need to go like on the minute, on the daily. And like this particular cycle has just been cycling since day one. I would say, right? It's just sort of been hanging in the air. And I guess some cycles are just for rhetoric to just show off, and some things are sort of predictive programming prophecy. Who's going to be surprised when this happens? Anybody? I don't know. This whole thing's a play. It's literally like a TV show. It's a really expensive TV show, probably the most expensive, but a TV show nonetheless. She's had, like, how many seasons is Pelosi had? She's on season, like, I'd have to look that up. 50? How long has she been in this thing? I see a lot of stuff going down in England as precursors to what's going to happen in America, you know. At least I guess there's survivors that are gonna last after the Cascadia thing goes. Man, I really got to get a boat. Like if the whole West Coast is going to be underwater, like I gotta get like a underwater plan. You know what I mean? I feel like I could head for high ground and like just have a boat up there. But the hard part would be explaining to everybody like why I'm putting a boat up on the mountain. That would be hard to explain. I'd have to think that one through actually. Anyways, are they gonna send this guy to jail for lying and being a jerk? Cause you know, we got one of those guys apparently. It's all a show over here too. This whole Brexit thing. I mean, honestly my new tactic now is like just go from everything being staged, and then you can walk that back because I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that isn't staged that is just easy to manipulate. Some stuff that's natural, I guess until it gets big enough and then it gets co-opted at some point. But at this level, at this level, they're not leaving this to chance. Are you joking? There's too much riding on that. Just like with this guy. I mean, I think he is not with us any longer. I think he sadly passed when those trip codes got released. That was a long time ago, back when he was in the embassy. And right, there's so much talk about deep fakes and AI and all that kind of stuff. It'd be way too easy to create most of this stuff. It's the truth, right? Wait, which one's the truth? I feel like I get more and more lost, but it's fun at the same time. Yeah, but apparently I don't know. I didn't hear about this really much either. But apparently he's really sick and he's maybe going to die in custody. That would be rough and super convenient. Um, and the word is not out there. I guess if it was out there more, that would be. I don't know what I would think. Right? It was just in this tiny little newspaper. But they got to this play out to the end. They gotta set him to bed at some point. This is from before. This has more to do with well, I guess we are doing the 100. We cycle around. It's never about the thing that the title card is, right, guys? It's about a bunch of different stuff. Trying to tell a story. In the 100, the idea is that they land on a Earth-like planet, but it turns out to be a moon of Saturn. I mean, Jupiter. I mean, a gas giant, just a regular gas giant. And there's like this same exact polarity here. What are they called? Binary stars. White dwarf sucking the matter off of a red giant. Yeah, cool giant. Draconis, right? And right, even if this space stuff, it's hard to know with this space stuff, right? But I think a lot of this number stuff is never there on accident. So I'm always looking at that stuff, right? And this story is just interesting on its own because there's right, these stars are feeding off of each other, and they've been doing it at these regular intervals for this entire time. Um, but there's something anomalous, right? Just 7 years after a minor, right? So there's something strange happening. This is 16,000 light years away, and there's something weird happening over there too, which is interesting in its own right, whether it's a story or not, right? And there's so much truth in here, regardless of what you think about all of this at its base level. That's where I think a lot of people miss out on learning truth, where because they'll see something that, like, triggers their emotions. Oh my god, I can't handle what he's saying. I turned it off. Um, well, that's too bad. You may miss something. Maybe you saw something better after you turned that person off. But the more I look at this, right, the more meaning I see behind it. I don't know. And it ties into the TV show. Why is this image? And it's not just this show. It's Lost in Space. It's a bunch of other shows. This idea of, right, a dual star system, or so dual planetary bodies and one feeding off the other. That is a very, very common myth, theme, idea. This is from a couple days ago, but still. I remember when Freedom Fries were happening. When Freedom Fries were happening, then it started, right? Which path to Persia? We started our path to Persia. It got going there when we had Freedom Fries, and now we got Freedom Gas. It some stuff out there is just so hokey, if you know what I mean. Like, it's so in the nose, right? They just play that card, right? The T card. They use the most obvious word. And yeah, Star Trek. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, Star Trek is another one full of Nibiru stuff. You have to learn how to find the truth in everything, right? That's my whole deal. Like, especially in the fiction, you'll find it all over the place. You find it in this article too. I mean, it just, right. It's like a lame callback that I don't know if everybody's even get it. Like, who even remembers Freedom Fries? Just the you know pre '80s people, but they're bringing it back, and that sort of rhetoric. I don't know. It cycles. It cycles around. Here's another cycle, cycling back around. Apparently, I do like Zero Hedge. They can be a little inflammatory sometimes, but they do have good financial things if you can wade into it. I'm all about wading into stuff that I have no idea about, because you will understand it if you just spend 5 seconds, right? Try to increase your attention span, like fight against what our culture is doing to us, where, you're supposed to just flip to the next something right away. Um, this is about China, though, that what is the point of this? This bank failed, and they just flooded the market with, right, $36 billion. They tried to bail out this bank failure and then clamp down on it. And that's what they always do. And then they clamp down on the story. That's why it's hard to, like, find out about this kind of stuff. But, and they've done this before, but they're sort of staving off the inevitable there in China as well. If you really want to wade into all this financial stuff, I think it's worth it. You can read these charts and you really get a better picture of what's going on over there as well. I think it ties in to Nibiru and all this kind of stuff, right? Why are they letting the markets just sort of seize up? Getting all this credit is just flowing like there's no tomorrow. Wait, we're good for tomorrow, I think. But this flooding is for real, and it's not just where you are, right? It's everywhere. I think it's everywhere in America. Everything's just been saturated by your comparative levels. It's not flooding here, but it's everything's wet. Everything's, like the water table. It's just high. Doesn't matter where you are. Man, if that dam goes like they're signaling, that would just be, I don't know, beyond the pale. More controversial news. um, right? Impossible Burger And what's the other one called? Beyond Meat, right? These are coming. They're coming hard. They're going to be selling them at Burger King, and everybody's going to be eating these like to the max, nonstop, all the time, forever until it's because yeah, this food crisis is coming, and then obviously beef is going to be crazy expensive. Like it's already crazy expensive now. Like I can't get a steak. Are you joking? It's like $14 or some shit. Like I can't get a steak like ever. Like, and picture when just your regular T-bone is going to be 40, $50, at the cheapest. And that's just one, that's like, with just one piece of it. But you can barely read this, right? Can we make this any bigger? Um, the point is, this guy is, I didn't really realize this, but, that these burgers are basically, right, giant dose of canola oil. It's mostly canola oil, which is not highly advertised. They get the protein. And the point is, this is all like, for all those people that are out there being like, no GMO and don't, farm to table and all that kind of stuff. Like, this stuff is like ultra engineered to the max. But mostly canola oil. Like, just imagine you might as well just pour yourself a big glass of canola oil and drink that down for lunch. I'm sure you'll be feeling pretty good after that. Right, definitely gives you all of these problems. And that's the Beyond. The Impossible one is different because they right, this is engineered soy hemoglobin that has some other crazy nonsense in it, and it is also mostly just oils, right? Oils in this soy protein that's made in a lab, which that wasn't really like spelled out to me until I checked this. I read this guy's thing. I don't know how I found this again. Right? It's just highly processed. So I wouldn't. I don't even want to try it. This is just going to get more and more intense. I think this battle that's going down with these two symbols. You can read the symbols, right? Um, why the back and the forth, right? And this is all mainstream stuff. Like, why? I feel like the anxiety and sort of fear that is very real. I would say, if you read the actual scientific studies and know anything about EMF radiation, that that's just crazy. But why is the content, all I see is these like local news interviews with like angry grandmas being like, uh get this, get this new small cell tower out of my childhood home. It's next to my bedroom and this can't happen. And then, and that's on the local news. Like, why are they putting this stuff out there? I'm just looking for the gradations, It's like, why does stuff sometimes one way and why does stuff sometimes other way, if you know what I mean? I'm just going to go back to the bird cam for a second here. I thought he wasn't moving for a little bit, but then I got this video. He does leave at some point. Just try to bring... Oh, there's another bird. You just try to... I'm trying to bring peace into my life. Wherever I can find it. Mostly it's like right in front of you and you're just tripping out. A lot of it necessarily, a lot of it unnecessarily. It's just, that's the hard part to figure out which of them. Is this seriously going to be a huge problem and murder us all and turn us all into zombie slaves? Did that already happen? I think there's a much higher level to it. We should get into, that's what I'm saying. I got to move these markers around. Let's get into some entertainment. I love entertaining myself. Good morning, Soul's Eye Jules and Steve G, Scott Rogers. It's good to have you guys. You know, the late night people. Mind uploading your mind. This is coming. It's like all these things. It's advertised as coming, never gonna be here, always almost here. And then can we just like, is this attached to the, damn it. Stay with me 1 second. Wait for it. See, I gotta get a better system too. This is brutal. I gotta get. I'm working on it. Why is this in entertainment all the day? That's with all my entertainment questions. Why is this just massively nonstop in your face forever in every single show? It doesn't really matter what the demographic is. Why does it just show up over and over and over and over again? This idea of transferring your consciousness from one place to the other.
Transfer
consciousness.
Transfer your mind.
To search for consciousness.
Like it's just, oh, there he's gone. What happened? When did he? How did? No, we're moving on from that. Right? I could rattle off a huge list of shows and movies, and you know, I'm sure you could fill in your own blanks there. It's apparently been around for quite some time, according to this badass old picture. Right? Maybe there's a brain around a star. There's it goes way back with a lot, you know, along with a lot of this kind of things, and I think it goes way forward, and it's happening right now. I mean, this is last year, but I feel like there's been thousands of articles written like this, and then you see it in the TV show. It's like, I'm sure this is not new information for anybody listening. That there's talk about uploading your mind over and over again. Do you remember this guy, the Russian guy? And he was like, Project 2045, I'm gonna do this thing. Yeah, I guess we got to get there soon. Like, you got one more year, dude. We got to get this Avatar A going. And yeah, that's going to be the consciousness transfer, like coming up next century, apparently. Until you get fully, I guess uploading to the cloud is going to be a little harder. I'm not sure if this is still on track. It says 2013, so I'm guessing maybe not. But this concept is still on track. It's just nonstop all the time. And again, right, we come over to the masters of information, everything you ever needed to know about anything. And there's quite a few, you know, movies and shows on this list.
Congratulations, doctors. You've conquered death.
The key fully developed brain.
But it doesn't seem like, you know, the end of the world. Am I over hyping this? This show was all about consciousness transfer.
Congratulations, doctors. You've conquered
Chill
death.
out. Chill out. All right, I'm gonna fix that too. I'm gonna fix all of it. Travelers is a great show, but they like screwed up in the future, and what they did was transfer consciousnesses back to the past, and like just overwrote people that were about to die, and put a new consciousness into that body. And then I guess they didn't die, like most of them. Sending their consciousness from the future. And they're all, there's sort of like slight variations on the same idea, but it really is just over and over again. I mean, that's all that Altered Carbon is about. It's just 300 years in the future. It's always in the future, right? But that's honestly my question. When they say things are in the future, do they mean the past? Do you know what I mean? Do they mean like the really far past? Do they mean the future? Or do they mean something else? Does it have anything to do with the neural lace? It's getting developed. How does consciousness right? How do you mix these different things together? Because a lot of these concepts, I think, are only considered one at a time. But how is AI going to mix in with consciousness transfer? How you'd be able to transfer a bunch of consciousnesses together and then mix those together with an AI, create some sort of hybrid mega entity. You got like 20 goddamn consciousnesses. Maybe they'd be fighting about it. Probably. We're gonna get into this actual clip from the 100 after this large sound. All right. So there is your basic consciousness transfer. That's really basic, very, very basic, scratching the surface. There's a lot more detail that I could look in. And I'm sort of going back and forth, look at stuff really, really in depth or just give some basic info. I don't know. Don't super have a plan. That's part of the plan, is to not super have a plan. So, right, that's a lot of previous content. But I'm, as with all of the pictures and the bird and all that stuff, I'm interested in what's going on like right now, literally today, in this moment. And consciousness transfer is what's up. In the 100, it's the main part of the storyline that they figured this out. And it was in previous seasons, but here's sort of a spin on it. Let's listen to the audio real quick.
Congratulations, Doctor. You've conquered death.
The key fully developed brain. Once host conscious stored in the drive, uploads with ease. It's a test to run, but consciousness herself appears to be whole. In other words,
Eureka is what he says, right? There's some way to figure it out, and then it's literally just probably a couple gigabytes. And it's just like, yeah, save that file. Back it up. Put it on some premium storage. But I guess, it's that whole person's conscious. Or is it going to be more, right? Is it going to be terabytes? I feel like for some reason it would not be that much. Just to, with the right connections. It's hard to say. Right? And honestly, I guess there's no way to know if they've really done this or not. It seems like they would have, or at least really, really, really want to. And they're just sort of manifesting the shit out of it because, right, it's just everywhere. Maybe that's the point with a lot of these trends, is just, these guys, they know the power of cyclical suggestioning and all that kind of stuff, and they just put these things out there, and it just cycles back around to actually happening. I mean, a couple different options there. What am I trying to say? It's weird out there. I don't know if I can blow your mind right now on consciousness transfer, but just know that it's probably coming in the future in the mainstream land. If it's not already out there, somebody else has it. They've already been doing this for quite some time. It has to be coming soon, right? Same with all these other suggestions that are coming down the pike. There's a lot of them, so that's why it's hard to sort of balance them. But I feel very confident that this kind of consciousness transfer, that's gonna play a serious role in whatever's gonna be presented to us in the next phase. Combined with aliens? Maybe. What I did start to think about is that maybe this is, as with a lot of other things, just layers of the Gnostic teachings of reincarnation, which is basically like the original consciousness transfer. That's what the Dalai Lama does, right? It's what the Dalai Lama's been doing for a long time. It's not just in Gnosticism, it's in a bunch of other religions. If reincarnation actually does happen, and that's just what you'll hear from a lot of these groups, then, well, maybe it's been there this whole time, and yeah, people have been using it, and you just don't understand the tech. Doesn't really have anything to do with hard drives. Earthquakes are happening. All sorts of stuff's happening. So I don't know, you're planning, at least thinking about something that you try to control. I go back and forth. I don't want to worry. I don't want to trip myself out. I want to try to have a good life, as short as it's probably going to be. But then you also want to be prepared. You want to be ready for that moment, if you can be. When it really gets down to it, And I got to grab that boat. I got to run and grab that boat. Wait, did I buy the boat? Did I get the boat? Guess I gotta look on Amazon for a boat. You get like a small one. Maybe if I kept it in the box. I'm gonna get like a pump or something. Yeah, Megamind. I should totally watch Megamind again. Check out Megamind again. It really doesn't matter where you look. I happen to try to look at today. It's almost like that's all I can grasp onto, I think that's the main point with all this entertainment, all this data, all this nonsense, right? It just overloads your brain. So you just can't plan for the future. Maybe you can do both, but it definitely makes it harder. you guys are better than me. You know, maybe you're prepped up. Maybe you got that suitcase ready to go. Got those scooters gassed up in your trunk. I gotta get that boat. Yeah, so I was thinking. I mean, it's late. It's always late. I guess it's always late. But I'd love to get questions from you guys. You know. I don't have a huge following yet. Like, I want to say yet. You know, like Marfugal News. I can't exactly like insert callers that aren't you know. But if I could use his old format and talk about news for a little bit, you know, get some people in here. We got Ed McMahon's, you know, we got some people. I'm sure you guys got ideas, you know. We just take it from there. But I think for tonight, I'm gonna call it. Because the riser's already started. That's the riser's going. I'll see you guys tomorrow.